Hello everyone who is watching today's video. We invite you to join us on a challenging but equally magical journey out to sea, where Japanese fishermen are struggling day and night in the vast ocean to catch hundreds of giant tuna every day using the traditional longline fishing method combined with modern technology. This is a long-standing fishing profession, passed down through many generations of Japanese fishermen, and to this day still plays an extremely important role in the country's fisheries industry. In the fierce waves, the calloused hands, the sunburnt backs, and the loud laughter on the deck paint a vivid picture of a challenging profession but also imbued with the cultural identity of the sea. From early morning, before the sun has yet to rise above the horizon, Japanese bluefin tuna fishing boats have been bustling from the port. The crew quickly prepared their equipment, checked the long fishing line system, and carefully prepared bait from the night before. They used thousands of hooks attached to a line tens of kilometers long. Lowered deep into the sea to hunt for giant tuna moving with the ocean currents. Each time they dropped their line, the whole ship seemed to enter a battle. Everyone worked according to a professional, rhythmic machine, coordinating down to the smallest detail. When the fishing line was dropped into the sea, the waiting time began. This was the time that required patience, stillness, but no less tension, because at any moment, just a small vibration from the line could be a signal that a tuna weighing hundreds of kilograms had bitten the hook. And at that moment, the whole deck immediately woke up. The fishermen quickly rushed to the line pulley, coordinating well with each other to bring the giant fish up from the water. This requires strength, technique and a deep understanding of this fish species, because with just a small mistake, the fish can struggle and escape from the hook. There are times when a bluefin tuna over 2 meters long, weighing up to 300 kilograms is pulled up. The whole ship seems to burst into joy, cheers echoing between the sea and sky. Unlike mass industrial fishing methods, longline fishing is a method that both preserves the quality of tuna meat and protects marine resources. When caught alive, the tuna will be immediately put into a deep freeze storage compartment at -60 degrees Celsius to keep it absolutely fresh. Therefore, Japanese bluefin tuna always meets the highest standards in the international market. Especially at auctions at the famous Tsukiji or Toyosu fish markets in Tokyo, where a single tuna can be sold for hundreds of thousands, even millions of US dollars. But to achieve these results, the lives of fishermen at the forefront of the wind and waves are not easy. They have to live many days, even weeks at sea, facing unexpected storms, bone-chilling cold and loneliness in the middle of the vast ocean. There are days when they are empty-handed. Not a single fish bites the hook. There are times when they feel like giving up, but then their steadfast eyes, their faith in the ocean and in the traditional profession of their ancestors urge them to continue going out to sea. Each fish pulled up is a small victory, the result of perseverance, a drop of sweat rolling down their foreheads mixed with salty seawater. Today's tuna fishing boats are much more modern than before. The boats are equipped with radar systems, GPS positioning, fish finders, and cameras to monitor fishing lines. However, the work on the boats still requires human strength, agility and the ability to handle situations flexibly. The sailors have to work continuously in shifts, regardless of day or night. Each day, a ship can harvest from several dozen to hundreds of tuna, depending on the season and fishing area. After each harvest, the fish are put into a cold storage compartment, sorted by size, weight and meat quality. Fish with even fat veins, bright red meat, and firmness will be classified as high class and very valuable. Bluefin tuna is not only a fish with economic value, but also a symbol of the perseverance and strong will of the Japanese people. In Japanese culture, enjoying sashimi or sushi from bluefin tuna is an art. Showing sophistication and appreciation for what nature has to offer. Therefore, the process of catching, preserving and processing tuna is carried out very strictly, ensuring that each slice of fish that reaches diners is the most perfect product. With the development of technology and environmental awareness, many tuna fishing fleets in Japan have adopted sustainable measures, such as limiting catches, using hooks that do not harm unwanted species, and coordinating with international organizations to ensure that tuna resources are not depleted. This shows that tuna fishing is not only a livelihood, but also a responsibility to preserve the ocean for future generations. Bringing back precious products from the depths of the ocean, they not only fish, but also preserve and develop a part of the soul of Japanese island culture, bringing the name of the Japanese seafood industry far and wide on the world map. In the middle of the deep blue ocean, with no phone signal, no internet, no city lights, life on a tuna fishing boat is a completely separate world. There is only the sound of waves lapping against the side of the boat, the rumbling sound of the engine, the sound of fishing lines pulling through the reels, and occasionally cheers of joy when a tuna weighing hundreds of kilograms is pulled to the surface. On the small boat amidst the stormy waves, the fishermen live like a family, bonding with each other through every meal, every quick nap, every overnight shift in the bone-chilling cold. They share with each other hot cups of tea, jokes to dispel fatigue, and meaningful moments of silence when looking out to sea in the fiery red sunset. A day on the boat starts at 4 a.m. When the sky is still dark, the fishermen prepare everything quickly, checking the fishing lines. Bait, positioning equipment, and other essentials. Dropping a long line is a job that requires absolute precision. A small mistake in dropping the line can cause the entire system to be tangled, taking hours to fix. After the line is dropped, the fishermen will have a quick breakfast and take turns keeping watch, making sure not to miss any signals from the deep sea. In those moments of waiting, they learn patience, an indispensable virtue for those working at sea. When a fish bites, everything immediately becomes bustling. The whole boat moves skillfully to avoid straining the line. The sailors stand in position. Some control the reel, some hold the line, some prepare the hook. Pulling up a fish is not just a matter of strength, it is an art. A battle of wits and endurance with this incredibly powerful fish. Bluefin tuna often struggle violently, dive deep and move at high speeds to escape the hook. Fishermen must patiently release the line, then slowly pull it back, rhythmically like playing a tense piece of music. Sometimes, it takes nearly an hour to bring a fish onto the deck. As soon as the fish is pulled up, another group of fishermen will quickly measure the weight, check the quality of the meat and carry out the initial processing steps. A sharp knife is used to puncture the fish's heart, quickly ending the struggle, helping to maintain the best quality of the meat. After that, the fish is washed with seawater, cooled with ice and immediately put into deep freeze storage. Each operation must be quick, neat and precise, because even a few minutes of delay can seriously affect the quality of the fish meat. This shows the professionalism and dedication in every action of the fisherman. But it is not always smooth sailing. There are days when the sea is very rough. The waves are up to 5 to 6 meters high. The boat sways like a leaf in a storm. The fishermen still have to work, still have to try to keep their balance, cast their lines. And pull in fish, while everything around them is shaking violently. Some people are injured because they slipped. Some are hit hard when the boat suddenly tilts. At times like that, the spirit of solidarity is the only thing that helps them overcome. When one person falls, the whole boat supports them. When one person pulls in a fish, the whole boat joins forces. No one leaves anyone behind. Because in the vast ocean, each person is an important link in the chain of survival. After many days of fishing, when the boat's hold is full of fish, the boat will return to the mainland, bringing with it the precious spoils of war. The return journey is usually when fishermen rest, clean their equipment, and check the entire system in preparation for the next trip. High-quality tuna will be brought to large fishing ports, where traders, chefs, and export companies are waiting. Some are consumed domestically, the rest are exported to demanding markets such as the US. Europe, and especially Asian countries with a tradition of eating sashimi, such as Korea, Taiwan, and China. What is special is that despite the hard work and many dangers, many fishermen still choose to stick with the profession for life. They consider the sea their home, tuna their friends, and longline fishing an indispensable part of their lives. There are people who have followed their fathers on the boat since childhood. Learning how to tie ropes, choose bait, and pull fish. When they grow up, they continue to pass on their profession to their children and grandchildren. And so, the tradition is continued through each generation, like an invisible thread connecting people and the ocean. Many people will wonder, why don't Japanese fishermen use nets to catch fish faster? The answer lies in the difference in their working philosophy. They do not pursue quantity, but put quality first. The longline fishing method helps to select better fish, minimize the catching of unwanted species, and most importantly, ensure the sustainability of the marine environment. That is why Japanese tuna is always expensive. and the longline tuna fishing profession is still respected and preserved as a living heritage of the land of the rising sun. After each long sea voyage, when the ship docks, the fishermen's relatives are already waiting at the port. Those are hasty hugs, tearful eyes, and bright smiles even though the salty smell of the sea breeze is still on their bodies. The resilient women on the mainland are also the solid support, the motivation for men to bravely go out to sea every day. They understand that tuna fishing is not only a job, but also the pride and honor of the family, of an entire clan that has lived off the sea for generations. Back on land, the giant tuna are brought to the processing plant or auctioned, especially in Japan. The famous tuna auctions at Toyosu Market, the successor of the famous Tsukiji Market, are an indispensable part of culinary culture. Here, bluefin tuna can reach prices of hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars for one if the meat quality is perfect. These tuna sashimi slices will appear on the dining tables of five-star restaurants. Or in special parties of the upper class. But before reaching such a luxurious place, they have gone through a long and dangerous journey at sea, exchanged with the sweat, blood and tears of the fishermen. No one understands the value of each piece of fish meat better than the fishermen themselves. Because they are the ones who have pulled it up from the deep sea, have faced fierce storms, endless sleepless nights with no shore in sight, and even failed times when the fish did not bite. But that is also why they love their job more. Cherish each trip more. For them, each fish is a worthy reward for their sacrifice, for their patience and their indomitable spirit before nature. In recent years, longline tuna fishing has been improved to better suit the times. Modern GPS positioning systems, sonar sensors, fish finding radars, and buoy receivers are all equipped on board to increase fishing efficiency. However, the core values of the profession remain unchanged. It is still the calloused hands of fishermen, the attentive eyes following every movement of the fishing line, and the indescribable joy when the fish are brought to the deck. It can be said that technology is just a supporting tool, while the soul of the profession is still preserved and promoted by humans. A little-known fact is that Japanese fishermen also pay great attention to conserving aquatic resources. They understand that if they overfish, the tuna resource will be depleted and this profession will no longer exist. Therefore, many fishing associations in Japan have set strict regulations on fishing seasons, permitted fish sizes, and the number of catches per trip. Some ships even cooperate with scientists to attach positioning devices to fish, track their paths and migration behaviors, thereby coming up with more sustainable and scientific fishing plans. It can be said that in the eyes of the world, Japanese tuna is not only famous for its excellent meat quality, but also for its humane fishing philosophy. Respect for nature, and close connection between people and the ocean. Thanks to professionalism, high professional ethics and national pride, Japanese tuna always holds a special position in the global seafood industry. And the fishermen, despite their hard-working physique and sunburned skin, are always silent artists. Day and night writing beautiful stories in the middle of the ocean. On the deck, after each fishing trip, the fishermen spend time maintaining equipment. Sharpening hooks, and preparing bait boxes. No one needs to remind anyone. Everything happens like a pre-programmed habit. They work hard, without noise or complaint. There are old men over 60 years old who still regularly follow ships to sea. Because they say, "I only feel alive when I am still at sea." It sounds simple, but hidden deep in that saying is a lifetime of attachment to the sea. To fish, to ships and to fellow fishermen. It is also thanks to that spirit that the young generation in the profession is strongly inspired. Many young Japanese people today choose to pursue tuna fishing, not because they are rich, but because they see the great meaning in this job. On modern ships, young men in their 20s begin to learn how to distinguish each type of fish, each direction of the current, and learn composure from their predecessors. Gradually, they grow up, and then one day, they themselves will be the ones to take the wheel. Leading the next generation to overcome the big waves in the vast ocean. And so, day after day, generation after generation, the small Japanese people silently continue to write the story of the sea. A story of courage, perseverance, and a passionate love for tuna fishing. They don't need the spotlight. They don't need anyone to cheer him on. Because as long as there are fish in the sea and the wind is still blowing, they will still go out to sea. Night falls in the middle of the ocean, when the whole world falls silent. But for fishermen, it is a golden moment to catch fish. The lights from the ship illuminate part of the ink-black water, reflecting the hundreds of hooks that are being dropped into each ocean current. Men wearing waterproof jackets and thick gloves, walking confidently on the deck soaked with seawater. They work silently without a word of complaint. Long fishing lines are dropped into the sea, pulling along thousands of carefully baited hooks. The baits, usually small fish like herring or squid, are carefully selected. Some ships even import bait from other seas just to increase their ability to attract tuna. It is said that catching tuna is not just about going out to sea, but it is an art that requires the perfect combination of oceanographic knowledge, practical experience and luck from nature. Throughout the night, the sailors take turns guarding the fishing line. Any slight vibration on the line can be a sign that a giant tuna is biting the bait. When the signal is detected, the whole team quickly gets into position. They use human strength to pull the fishing line, combined with supporting machinery to bring the fish onto the ship. Each time like that can last tens of minutes, even hours if the fish is big and struggling strongly. In the dark, the flashlight shines on the fish's body that is struggling strongly, sometimes causing water to splash white all over the deck. When the tuna is brought up, the sailor in charge will quickly use a sharp spear to kill the fish in a split second. They must ensure the fish dies quickly so that the meat remains as fresh as possible. Immediately after that, the fish are put into the deep freeze compartment, which is kept at the ideal temperature to preserve the fish while still at sea. Some high-end ships also have a super-fast freezing system. bringing the temperature down to -60 degrees Celsius in just a few minutes, a strict standard for high-end bluefin tuna. And so, all night long, they work without rest. Some people take a few dozen minutes to sleep, resting their heads on coils of rope. Others sip hot coffee in the cockpit amidst the cold sea breeze. They do not complain, because they understand that the sea is not easy. But it is also very generous, as long as you have enough patience and courage. Early in the morning, when the sun appears on the horizon, it is also the end of a working shift. The whole group of fishermen together check the number of fish caught, record the size, weight, and condition of the fish. For fish that meet a grade quality, evenly red, fatty, and ideally firm, they are individually marked and carefully packaged to prepare for auction on the mainland. A tuna of this type can be worth as much as a car. Therefore, proper preservation and handling are extremely important. After completing the processing, the fishermen take the opportunity to repair damaged fishing lines, replace broken hooks, rearrange the cargo hold, and prepare for the next line drop the following night. Although tired, they remain optimistic, because they understand that each trip is not only to make a living, but also to preserve a part of the culture, a part of the soul of Japan. Not only the fishermen, but also the coastal communities are closely tied to the tuna industry. From handmade hook workshops, special fishing line production facilities, to processing, packaging, and transportation facilities, all form a closed value chain revolving around the tuna. In particular, top sushi chefs in Tokyo always affirm that, to have a perfect slice of sashimi, they need the precision of the fisherman, not only in the time of catching the fish but also in the way of killing the fish, preserving the fish, and the temperature when freezing. The culinary profession and the sea profession, seemingly two separate worlds, are blend together with passion and respect for raw materials. Today, faced with the challenges of climate change and the risk of depleting fish stocks, Japanese fishermen are gradually adapting by changing their fishing strategies. Some fleets have applied smart fishing systems, analyzing currents, salinity, water temperature and fish signals, to locate schools of fish more effectively. These new technologies not only help reduce fuel, save costs, but also limit the accidental catching of fish species that need to be preserved. However, no matter how modern, the human factor is still central. No device can replace the acumen of a veteran sailor, who can smell the wind to guess where the fish are swimming, who just needs to look at the sky to know when to pull the line, when to anchor the boat and wait. They, the experienced fishermen, are the true soul of each sea trip. On calm ocean days, without strong winds or high waves, the water surface reflects the sunlight like a giant mirror. Tuna fishing boats just drop anchor, quietly floating in the vast sea and sky. On the deck, each fisherman is diligently preparing new hooks, adjusting the parts of the line pulling machine, cleaning each screw as if it were a treasure. Every detail, every operation carries the value of life when in the middle of the ocean. Even the smallest damage can become an unpredictable danger. Ocean tuna is a fierce, strong, extremely strong and intelligent fish. When hooked, they will fight to the end. struggle, dive deep to the bottom of the sea to escape. There are bluefin tuna weighing more than 300 kilograms. Strong enough to pull a long line and tilt the boat if not handled properly. Therefore, fishermen need to be skillful in adjusting the pulling force, coordinating smoothly with their teammates. Not too strong so that the fish breaks the hook, nor too weak so that the fish becomes exhausted and its meat becomes mushy. Sometimes the whole ship puts all its manpower into fighting a single fish. One person holds the pulling machine, one adjusts the brake, one stands ready with the fish net, one holds a sharp iron spear waiting for the decisive moment. Every minute that passes is a tense tug of war between humans and the power of nature. And when the tuna is pulled close to the water surface, the whole group shouts loudly, coordinating their actions to bring the fish onto the ship with precise, quick hooks, ending the match with absolute precision. The fish is pulled onto the deck. The blood is still fresh. The main sailor will use a specialized knife to cut the right acupuncture point to drain all the blood. This keeps the fish meat clean, not fishy, and has a beautiful, even red color, an extremely important factor in determining the quality of the fish when auctioned. The fish are then rapidly chilled to ensure freshness. Each fish is weighed, coded, with its catch coordinates, time of hauling up, and time of processing recorded, all of which are recorded in detail in an electronic logbook or modern management system. There are Japanese tuna fishing boats that are likened to floating factories in the middle of the sea, with full equipment such as fish school detection radar systems, surveillance cameras, underwater sound detectors, super fast freezers, and fully equipped sleeping rooms for the crew. However, no matter how modern the machinery is, the most important thing is still the people, the heart of each fishing trip. On board, the working atmosphere is very disciplined. All members adhere to the schedule, work in shifts, and sometimes work continuously for 24 hours. Each person has a clear task, from the person who ties the bait, drops the line, pulls the fish, to the person who records and checks the machinery. When they finish their work, they eat, chat, share about their previous trips to the sea, or recount the dramatic battles with giant fish they have experienced. The camaraderie is as close as brothers, because in the middle of the ocean, they only have each other to rely on. Each sea trip usually lasts from a few days to a month. During that time, they are completely isolated from the mainland. Without phone signal, without internet, they live together, work, and face the fierce nature. But that is what has created people who are tough, strong, and full of optimism, because for them, the sea is not only a place to make a living, but also a part of life, a place where they belong. At the end of the trip, when the ship's hold is full of tuna, the captain will decide to return to port. On the way back, everyone repaired the fishing lines, cleaned the deck, and arranged the fish neatly in preparation for unloading. Once at the dock, each giant tuna was brought to the port by forklift or by hand, then immediately transferred to the auction center. At famous fish markets such as Tsukiji or Toyosu in Tokyo, tuna from all over the Japanese Sea are brought out to compare, price, and sell to high-end restaurants for tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The rigor